Good morning. The topic for this morning or for this day is all about quantum numbers, where electrons are located. Now, for you to fully understand the topic, from time to time I'll be using two languages, English and Cebuano, okay? So that you can understand fully what the topic is all about. So let's go back to the main topic, the quantum numbers. So if you say quantum numbers, this is where electrons are located. So in other words, if you use this to compare with our location, this could be our address. Okay? And to be specific, let's have, for example, the province as our address. Let's say, for example, province of Cebu. So, if you say province of Cebu, it's very vague. Medyo hanap as ang location because it's very big, province, dako siya. Now, to be more specific, let's have another example. We will use city as our example here. So, for example, city, let's say Lapu-Lapu City. So, medyo klaro-klaro siya gamay compared sa province. And this green color here is our location. So, from city in Lapu-Lapu City, so mo niya itong location, the green one. And to be more specific, let's have the street. Masa nga street ka dapit. So dara street na siya green. So imo siyang i-zoom, it will look like this. So morning part nga green part color, green color. So this your location is and then so in this case dali kang matrace. With this, we can use these examples as to the discussion of the quantum numbers. So let's have first the principal quantum number. So what is this principal quantum number? So for example, if we say principal quantum number, so pwede siyang atong himuon nga city. No? And this principal quantum number is the energy level. And we will use the Bohr model because we can see here the nucleus and the different energy levels represented by the ring. So, in using the Bohr model, we can see clearly where is the energy levels located. So, for example, by the way, we will use the symbol small n as our representation for the principal quantum number. And it has energy levels represented by whole numbers. You have 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So it's infinite. You can use until 4, whatever numbers. But in our lesson, we only use until 3. So where can we find these principal quantum numbers or these energy levels? So in the first string, this is the location where you can find the energy level number 1, energy level number 2, and energy level number 3. Just like that. So these are our energy level. So again, principal quantum number could be our city or the city where you are located. And let's proceed. So to be more specific, let's have the other quantum number. This time we have the angular momentum quantum number. So it could be the street. So in other words, if it could be the street, this is more specific compared to the first one, compared to the principal quantum number. So in this angular momentum quantum number, we can find here the sublevels and the shape of the orbitals. Okay, And we will use the symbol L in locating for the sublevel and the shape. So the L sublevel, I mean the L for angular momentum, has a formula of 0 to n minus 1. Okay, now I wanted to see the different sublevels and the shape. Okay, for this part here, the S, P, D, and F are the sublevels, and it has some values here. S is 0, P is 1, D is 2, and F is 3. Okay, now for example, you are asked to find for the angular momentum quantum number of n, or the principal quantum number 3. Okay, and basing from the formula here, you have L is equal to 0 to n minus 1. So in this problem here, you're asked to find for the angular momentum quantum number of n3. So in other words, you will use a formula here. So the n is 3, so therefore you have 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. So therefore, its angular momentum quantum number will become 0, 1, and 2. So in other words, when you subtract 3 minus 1 based from the formula here, you will get 2, and that 2 is your angular momentum quantum number here. So the solution is until here lang. Kaya ang imuhang answer diri is 2. So therefore, 2 ra sa diri ang resulta sa imong last ka part. Okay? Now, what if ang problem is the focus sa N4? How do you solve for that? Okay, so same procedure gihapon. You go back to the formula. We have n here is 4, so you have 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So therefore, for your angular momentum quantum number, or the L, will become 0, 1, 2, and until 3. Nganong 3 naman kutob siya? Is because sa imong pag-solve diri, your answer is 3. So diri said 3 sa iyang last. So that's for angular momentum quantum number. Okay? So let's continue. So after that, we will proceed to the next one. This time, this is most specific compared to angular momentum quantum number. This time, it is known as the magnetic quantum number. So kung sa ato apa ni mao na ni atong balay, it is the most specific because ganiha street man to. So karon balay na jud. No? So in this magnetic quantum number, the focus here is the number of orbitals. Okay? The number of orbitals. Okay, now you have here the S, P, D, and F. For S, you have 1 orbital. For P, you have 3 orbitals. For D, you have 5 orbitals. And for F, you have 7 orbitals. Now, how to solve for this magnetic quantum number? Okay, now we will use now the formula for magnetic quantum number, or the symbol we are going to use is M sub L is equal to negative L until positive L. So, pwede sad ma-appeal ang 0 sa taas. Okay, medyo madaman siya in answer nimo. And put in mind that in solving for the magnetic quantum number, we will always base your calculation with the L. Okay? Masag itong L ganiha. That's the angular momentum quantum number. Okay. For example, we will try to solve for, I will write first the sublevels again, no need na. I have here the sublevels, the SPDF. What if the problem focused on getting the M sub L of P sublevel? So how to solve for that? For P sublevel, in solving for that, okay, you will put in mind that P, the L of P is 1. Na ito sa angular momentum quantum number. So, pwede mo nga ito mubalik. Tanaw ninyo ang mga values niya. Okay, now, how to solve for the M sub L now? The magnetic quantum number. Again, this is on, I will now focus on the orbitals, Okay, so for M sub L of the P sublevel, you have negative 1, 0, and positive 1. So, you have here, since this is P, ay P man sublevel siya, so na siya tulo ka orbitals, 1, 2, and 3. So here, you have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now, more examples. For example, this one here, I have here a drawing, kaning na nucleus, yan na ay energy levels. Okay. What if the problem is you are asked to solve for the M sub L of N1? So, kani 1. Okay. Since mo-focus man ta sa L, or sa angular momentum in solving for this M sub L, so we'll get the formula for L. So, always remember the formula in getting for the L. So, the formula for L, again, as what I'll balik, L is equal to 0 until N minus 1. Okay? Since N here is 1, so you have 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So, therefore, your M sub L is 0. Okay? So let's proceed to two energy levels. This part here. What if the N is 2? Oh, the N is 2. Again, always use the formula. You have L is equal to 0 until N minus 1. So since the given here is N is 2, so therefore you have 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So, your M sub L for N2 will become negative 1, 0, and positive 1. Di maning 1, di ara. Sa imong i-calculate dire. So, 1. Here, 0. Okay? Nya, you have how many orbitals? You have 1, 2, 3. Ngano gito? Ganong 3? Because it belongs to the P sublevel. P sublevel. Dire, pila ka orbital? Usa. Okay, it belongs to S sublevel which has 1 orbital. Okay? Let's proceed. What if the unknown here is N3? How would you solve for that? If it's N3, again, get the formula. L is equal to 0 to N minus 1. So you have 3 minus 1 is 2. So therefore, your M sub L is, what do you think? It's negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So until 2 rasag ka. Okay, kay 2 man diri. So therefore you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 orbitals for the D. So mo na iyahang orbitals taas sa D. Kani you have 2, you have 3 because P man siya. Kani kay 1, kay S man siya. That's for magnetic quantum number. Let's now proceed. This time, we'll now go to let's have the summary. Okay. So a sort of review from principle to magnetic quantum number. Okay. Let's repeat. For the energy levels, we have 1, 2, 3, until 4. And what about the sublevels? So you have the S. For the energy level, as a review, energy level number 1, the sublevel is S. And the number of orbitals for the S sublevel is only 1. Okay. And the number of electrons. But before we proceed to that number of electrons, let us first have the spin quantum number. Okay. This spin quantum number will tell us how many electrons per orbital should be put there. Okay. And for the spin quantum number, we will use the symbol M sub S is equal to negative 1/2 or positive 1/2. Okay. The meaning of negative 1/2 is half arrow down. And the meaning for positive 1/2 is half arrow up. So mo na ilahang movement. Now, in this case, since the meaning of spin quantum number only 2 electrons per orbital, so we will now proceed to this part here, the summary. So therefore, for the S sublevel, it has only 1 orbital, so it has 2 electrons. Okay. And for the energy level number 2, we have the sublevels S and P. And the number of orbitals, S has 1 orbital, P has 3 orbitals, so a total of 4 orbitals for energy level number 2. And how many electrons? You have 2 here, and you have 2 each here, so it becomes 8 electrons. For the third sublevel, you have the S, the P, and the D. So S has 1 orbital, P has 3 orbitals, and D has 5 orbitals, a total of 9. And these orbitals consists of 2 electrons each, so it becomes 18 total electrons. And for energy level number 4, you have the S sublevel, the P sublevel, the D sublevel, and the F sublevel. So you have 1, 3, 5, 7, a total of 16 orbitals with 2 electrons each. So you have 32 electrons. Okay, and that ends our lesson. Thank you and have a good day.